They say the world is full of ghosts, not the kind that rattle chains in the dark, but entire civilizations that once thrived with laughter, art, and faith, now erased by time as if they never existed. Imagine walking through a forest so ancient that the air itself feels like memory, and suddenly you find a broken stone carved by hands that vanished 1,000 years ago. No words, no records, just a whisper from a world that once lived and breathed. That's where our story begins, a journey across continents and centuries, chasing the shadows of people who built wonders, dreamed big, and then disappeared without a trace. Picture the Maya, a people who filled their jungles with cities so grand they reached for the heavens. Between the 8th and 10th centuries, their world fell quiet. Their stone calendars stopped as if time itself had ended. The pyramids that once scraped the sky were swallowed by vines, and the people who mastered mathematics, astronomy, and art simply faded. Historians speak of too many mouths to feed, forests cut down until the land grew tired, rains that never came, and wars that tore cities apart from within. It's like watching a candle burn at both ends until darkness wins. Then there was Hattusa, the mighty heart of the Hittite Empire, a kingdom that once rivaled Egypt itself. Around the year 1180 before Christ, it vanished. No conquering army, no great fire sweeping its streets, only silence and ashes, as though a giant hand pressed erase on history. Archaeologists found rows of clay tablets, the world's first kind of books, baked solid by flames, their last messages trapped forever in dust. It's as if we stumbled into a library mid-scream, frozen by fire. Now travel with me to the Indus Valley, to the cities of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, places that once hummed with life, built on straight streets and sophisticated water systems, like veins beneath a living skin. Then, around 4,000 years ago, they too fell quiet. The people left their homes, and no one knows where they went. Their written words are still a mystery, lines and loops no one can read, like the diary of someone you love but can never understand. Some say rivers changed their paths, others say the earth grew too dry, or wars broke what unity remained. Whatever it was, the hum of life turned into an echo. Now look across the sea to Easter Island, a tiny speck of land guarded by stone giants called Moai, each carved by hand, each staring toward the horizon. The people of Rapa Nui once thrived here, crafting art and managing farms. But as their trees disappeared, the soil weakened, food became scarce, and the islanders turned on each other. It's like watching a family tear their house apart piece by piece to keep warm, only to find themselves standing in ashes. The outside world brought diseases and slave raids that finished what hunger had begun. Their statues still stand, proud, defiant, and alone, a warning carved in stone. Journey next to Petra, the rose-red city half as old as time. The Nabateans built it with genius, carving entire temples into cliffs of red rock and channeling desert rain through secret pipes. But as trade routes shifted and Rome expanded, their world dissolved into empire, their culture absorbed like ink in water. Their name became a footnote, their glory buried under sand until travelers rediscovered it centuries later. From there, we climbed to the cliffs of the American Southwest, where the ancestral Pueblans, or Anasazi, built homes tucked into canyon walls. Imagine life there, wind echoing through stone corridors, the smell of firewood, the laughter of children carried down the cliffs. Then, one day, all fell silent. By the late 13th century, they were gone. Droughts stretched for years, crops failed, and the people may have left in search of new lands. No one wrote down their final days. All that remains are the homes, empty shells that seem to ask, where did everyone go?
In Mesoamerica,
The Olmecs, often called the mother culture of later civilizations like the Aztecs and Maya, left behind colossal heads carved from stone, each face unique, each silent. Between 1500 and 400 years before Christ, their civilization thrived along Mexico's coast. Then their cities emptied. Some say rivers moved, or wars erupted, or the land simply gave up. Whatever happened, their memory dissolved into legend, leaving behind only those giant faces staring into eternity like guardians of secrets no one can break. Across the ocean, in China, the people of Jinsha and Liangzhu built advanced cities long before emperors ruled. They left jade treasures, tools, and art that spoke of grace and order. Then floods came, walls of water swallowing entire cities, layers of mud sealing their stories like pages pressed shut. Their ruins lay buried for thousands of years, waiting to be rediscovered. Their fate a reminder that even brilliance can drown. Then there's the haunting tale of the lost army of Cambyses, 50,000 Persian soldiers marching through the Egyptian desert in 525 before Christ, swallowed by a sandstorm so fierce it buried them alive. Not one returned. Centuries later, explorers found fragments of bone and armor, proof that even the mightiest army can vanish in a single breath of nature's rage. And then there's Corral, one of the oldest cities in the Americas. For a long time, no one knew why its people vanished. But in 2025, archaeologists uncovered a clue, a toad carved into temple walls, a symbol of water and fertility. Around it, bones of the dead and evidence of severe drought. It told a story of hope drying up, of people watching their rivers fade until they too were gone.
When we look at these ruins, we're not just staring at broken stones, we're peering into the remains of dreams. Every potsherd, every carving, every burnt wall is a heartbeat that once belonged to someone who believed their world would last forever. Archaeologists, in their own way, are like detectives chasing ghosts, reading clues buried beneath dirt and time. They use tools like LiDAR, which is like shining a flashlight through a jungle canopy to reveal hidden cities below, or carbon dating, which is like checking the wrinkles of an object to guess its true age. These scientists use the earth itself as a diary, reading layers of soil like pages in a book written by time. And as they dig, patterns begin to form. Droughts, floods, earthquakes, wars, trade routes shifting like veins drying up. Societies built so tall that even the smallest shake brought them down. It's like a domino line stretching across the ages. One change knocks another, and before long, the whole system falls. The Maya, the Hittites, the Indus people, the Olmecs, the Nabateans, they all faced their own storms. Some were slow, creeping like drought. Others were swift, like war or plague. But in each case, human ambition and nature's power collided, and the earth won. Still, something within them survives. The descendants of the Maya still speak their language. The desert tribes still whisper stories of Petra. The lessons of their downfall are carved not only in stone, but in us. Because when we see how they fell, we see ourselves. We too live in a world stretched thin by hunger for more growth, more consumption, more control, as if the earth were an endless feast. But maybe the ghosts of these civilizations are trying to tell us something. Maybe the echoes in their ruins are warnings wrapped in silence. Was it the earth shifting or something else? What if one day someone stands over the ruins of our world and asks the same question we ask of them? What happened here? If you were given a chance to save a civilization before it vanished forever, what would you do? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think humanity should learn from the ghosts of the past.